Well, we put some thought into it, and I think we've decided we're gonna do some meat chickens. All right, so like I said, we plan on doing some meat chickens this spring. We are gonna run them in some tractors out on my back lot here, or a tractor probably. I'm gonna build that, but right now we've got to figure out a place to brood them, and that's been the biggest difficulty, is trying to figure out where are we gonna brood these chickens whenever we get them in, because they're gonna be young. I think we finally decided on using half the shed here to, I'm just gonna use this half right here. It should be a good size for about 20-25 chicks to brood them out. It's fairly secure. I got to clean it out though, so that's what we're doing today. We thought about using my little pop-up greenhouse as a chicken brooder, but decided against that. Thought that might just be a little bit too open to predators or the dog, you know, trying to get in, some of those kinds of things. So decided against that and decided to use, I think, the shed here. So, but I got to get this all cleaned out, because what I plan on doing is just sectioning off about half of this, and I'll show you kind of when we get it all cleaned out. Sectioning off half of this and using that half as the brooder for the chicks, and I'll still have room to put my lawnmower and some of the things in here. I just got to get it cleaned out and figure out where I'm going to put all the crap that I've got stored in here, because honestly, I got too much crap in here. I need to get rid of some of it probably. All right, so managed to get the shed all cleaned out. I've still got to figure out how to get everything back in here, which I'll show you here in just a second. But you know, this is a section I'm going to be brooding the meat chickens in. There we go, the meat chicks. I'm just going to put a board down here on the bottom, block it off right there, up about 2 feet, so I don't have to worry about them getting over and getting into anything else. And this will be the area. I'll probably lay down a tarp or something like that on the bottom, throw some bedding in there so we don't have to worry about them, you know, messing up the floor too bad or any of those kinds of things. But I think this will work just fine. But I still got to get everything back in here. It was a good opportunity to go ahead and organize my shed a little bit too. So I'll show you the mess I got out there. All right, so this is everything I had in that shed. You know, there's some weed eaters and some garden tools, shovels and rakes and that kind of thing, which that shouldn't be too difficult to get back in there. What I'm worried about is trying to figure out how to get all this wood back in there, this scrap wood that I've been kind of collecting over the years and just saving up just in case. There's a good portion of it I'll probably just get rid of, but I got to figure out where to put it, where to store it all. You know, up above the rafters is where I store a lot of wood, but there's already a bunch of stuff up there. So unless I take all that stuff down, which I'm not so sure I'm in the mood to do today, I can't get all this stuff back up there, and a lot of it's pretty big stuff. Some of this I can use to build my my area to block that off, so I'll use it for that. The rest of it, I'm not sure. I may just be getting rid of some of it. But some of this stuff is it was just thrown in there, and I just need to do a better job. Like this plastic here is what I've used for low tunnels and things. It's just wadded up. I need to do if I fold it up, it'll take up less space. It'll be easier to store. Hoses and things like that were just kind of thrown in there, just become cluttered. So I'm gonna do a better job of organizing as I put it all back in there. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how that goes. All right, I got to share this with you. My wife had a fantastic idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Just out of the blue, she said, hey, why don't we use that old bed liner? A couple of months ago, I tore the bed liner out of my truck, didn't tear it out, took it out of my truck because the way my truck's set up, it's got a cargo management system with a bed divider that sits in there. But the bed divider doesn't work with the bed rail or the bed cover in there, bed liner, I should say. So I took it out. I offered it up for sale. Nobody wanted to buy it. It's a plastic bed liner, drop-in bed liner. So it's been sitting out here in the yard, so trying to figure out what to do with it. And she said, hey, could we use that for a brooder box? And I thought, it probably wouldn't take much to modify that. Let's see if it'll fit in the shed. We got it in the shed. Let me take you in and take a look at this. I bet I can make this into a fantastic brooder box for these chickens. Probably even something I can use for quail going forward. All right, here it is. It fits just almost perfectly. My initial thought was to build a board across here and block this half of the shed off. But this thing just slides right in here and fits almost perfectly. It's a little bit wide. It's gonna be a little bit of a tight fit for me to get my lawnmower in here, but I think if I put a ratchet strap or something on there and pull this together a little bit, that'll keep it sturdy enough to where I won't have to worry about chicks going out. I mean, it's tall enough. I don't have to worry about the chicks getting out of it. All I got to do is build something on this side right here to keep them in, which that won't be hard. It's got these holes in it, so I had to figure out something. I had these pool noodles laying around. I just stuffed a pool noodle through the hole. That works out pretty well. I'll probably put a piece of duct tape over that and just to secure it and make sure it stays in there. But other than that, this is perfect. I mean, this works out great. Whenever I'm done, I just pull it out, hose it off, put it back in, use it for all kinds of things. So all I gotta do is find a board that's long enough to fit across here, put a couple of screws in there with some kind of washer system to hold it up. I don't even have to put holes in the bed liner itself. It's gonna work out great. So very, very happy with that. I can't believe I didn't think of it. She just came up with it herself, and look at that. What a perfect fit. So I think this is gonna be my brooder box. It's not gonna be hard to modify that at all. I'll have a heat lamp that I hang from the rafters here, down right in here. Put a little bit of bedding down here, some straw or some hay probably. And this will work out perfect. This will be great. Now I just got to figure out what to do with all that wood I've got out there. Where am I going to store that? We'll see. So that was way easier than my plan. So glad she thought of that, because this works. I think it's going to work out perfect. This is a pretty simple concept. I've got it pretty sturdy. Let me bring you a little bit closer and I'll kind of show you what I did. But basically I just, cut the board to length is about 4 foot. I cut another board right here and I'm using that like a clamp. So the holes in the side of the bed liner, I just put the screws through there into the inside board and kind of clamped it together on the edge of the bed liner itself. Got a splinter on my finger. And then the top one here, I just put I just set the top board on top of the bottom board, cut a few strips, put it to where like your boards are like this. The board was sitting like that. Screwed a couple screws in the top, screwed a couple screws in the bottom. Let me bring you in close. This will kind of make a little bit more sense. All right, so this is the inside. So this top board, the only thing it's held on by is this strap right here. Just 2 screws in the bottom, 2 screws in the top. Well, the way around, you get what I'm saying. And it goes all the way across, and then another one on that side. That's all it needs. I mean, this is pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere, not by chickens anyway. And you can kind of see the outside board just clamped on. Pretty simple. I think it's going to work. The only other thing I did, let me turn around here. Oh, shaky camera action, sorry about that. The only other thing I did is I put a couple of clamps on the side to put a string in between, just to kind of pull these sides, put a little tension on them to hold them together a little bit more. That was more so I could get the lawnmower in here easily than it was. It really probably didn't need it, but you can kind of see what I did there. Okay, so we're going to see how well this works. It's actually only about 18 inches tall. Common wisdom is 2 feet tall, 24 inches to avoid having to put a top on it. I think it'll work though. I don't know for sure. We may have to fashion some kind of top, and if I do, I can just make a chicken wire top to go over the top of it. It's not that big of a deal if I end up having to make a top for it. It won't be that hard. I can do that pretty easily. So anyway, I think we're pretty much ready for some meat chickens. Didn't film a whole lot of this, but I think you guys got the idea. I'm really happy with this, the way this turned out. So stay tuned, and we'll show you as we get the chickens in and as we go through raising them, all those kinds of things. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, God bless.